Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic, and I must stop promising to get a comic book review up for Friday because it's Sunday. When I have this amount of books to read, the likelihood of me getting up on a Friday is very slim, and plus my weekends are already jam-packed with people and friends, so this is the final time before a new week starts. So let's crack on. The books were pretty good this week, very violent. Lots of blood and guts and violence and hacking and slacking and all that stuff. But I'm going to go back a little bit because I know issue 3 is already out, but I just wanted to quickly talk about Invisible Republic issue 2. If you saw my video on Wednesday, I said that I picked up issue 1 on Free Comic Book Day. I got it for £1, which is basically a third of the cover price. Because this is actually quite one of those cheap Image comics, a $2.99 book. I'm not quite sure why I didn't jump onto this immediately. I think there might have been other Image #1 titles out that particular month when this kicked off. And you know, choices need to be made, and the choice I made, I can't even remember which one I picked up rather than this, to be honest, but I am enjoying this. I don't know whether I'll keep picking it up in singles or kind of be patient and wait for the trade, but it's certainly a book I want to read more of. I really enjoy the kind of flashback storytelling that they have here with the present day, where we have this reporter who's kind of been discredited in some way, Crogger Banks, and he's found this secret journal of the cousin of Arthur McBride, who was meant to have taken over this city, this I don't know, this country. And then of course we have the flashbacks to a previous time with Arthur and his, I think it's his cousin Maya, and it just works really well. You feel this growing uneasiness between Arthur and Maya, and the way they interact with this kind of almost post-apocalyptic universe where everything is kind of dirty and grimy and it all looks kind of run down. Of course, the huge big sell here is the art. Corinna Pacheco and Jordan Boyd just bring this distressed and grimy world to life, and it's just beautiful to look at. So I've got to make a decision. If I see issue 3 on the shelf, because I know it was out, I think it was this week or it might have been last week, I'll pick it up and then tell my comic book guy to put it on my my pull list. However, if it's not there, I think this is going to have to wait for trade, but I am not going to give up on this book. I think it's really good. Okay, an Image #1 that I wasn't actually all that impressed about, which was surprising given the writer here, Brian Bucceletto. I don't know what it was about this, but it didn't grab me. Maybe it's one of those that are going to kind of warm to me with time, but I don't even know if I'm going to pick up issue 2 on this. We have our main character Travis. It's kind of his story. He's got these weird blue, one eye's blue, one eye's red. We see a kind of another flashback storytelling week here, as he is kind of rescued as a baby. And already the violence and the smashing of skulls, etc., and all the bloody guts that it ensues is all there on the page. This isn't for your young'uns. And then you have him now as an adult, and his kind of uneasy relationships with everyone around him as he tries looking for his birth family. However, nothing ever seems to go quite right for this guy. He seems to be kind of good at heart, but crap things basically seem to happen to him. And then you get thrown in this kind of maybe demonic cult element to it. And it's just it's just a bit, I've kind of read this before. Where's the twist here? Where's the excitement? I kind of felt this to be a little bit of a damp squib. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the Marvel section of this video because, of course, Secret Wars Battle World is going on. There was a lot of issues. I didn't get to talk very much about last week's, which I'm not particularly. I'm going to show you the issues again because I know I did show them on Wednesday, but there's a reason for this. And I'm kind of on the fence about this because I did mention on my Wednesday video that I liked these books because although they are part of this big, huge event, this Secret Wars Battle World event, they do feel very much like insular stories. And I like that. They're not all really interconnected, as in they are all taking place on this whole world. However, after reading them, I'm kind of going back on myself a bit because some of the titles do actually kind of reference the fact that, you know, this is basically Doom's planet now and he is in charge of everything. But not all of the titles kind of reference this, and you suddenly kind of get these plot holes, and I'll talk about them as we're going through. I'll just quickly go through last week's. I think I said on my Wednesday video, as much as I'm enjoying and I want to pick up as many of these issue 1s to give them a go, I'm not going to be going on with issue 2 with a lot of them. One of those is Battle World from last week. This was kind of, it's not so much an anthology story because there was only 2 in here, but at least it kind of connected in with the whole kind of Secret Wars Battle World. I'm probably going to keep going with Deadpool's Secret Wars just because it is kind of funny and it's kind of twisting the original Secret Wars story and it obviously Deadpooling it up, so to speak, so I will probably keep that. These are the 2 that were good and probably will continue with. Maybe this one, Master of Kung Fu, more than maybe Planet Hulk, because they did manage to reference the fact that, yes, they are on what is essentially Planet Doom. You know, Planet Hulk, we have right at the very beginning, we see the Thors flying over Hulk's kind of territory and Hulk kind of battling them back. And in this one we have the disgraced, is it Shang-Chi? I want to say, yeah, Shang-Chi, who was, is kind of going into the underground, the rebel alliance, so to speak. So that was pretty good and I kind of want to read more about that. This week, not so more so. As much as I like them, let's kick off with Inferno issue 1, a kind of reworking of that old, let's just say old. Whenever anything's old, we always want to say classic, and it's, no, we're stretching classic a little bit when it comes to the Inferno storyline, but it gets a bit of a twist in that it is kind of based on Colossus and his chance to try and rescue his sister Illyana, who has been captured. And he gets a chance, I think it's every 3 years or every 5 years, to attempt to kind of get his sister back from the demon. Oh my goodness, what's the demon called? I want to say, is it Ifrit, something like that? I go, you know, if you read it, you'll know. And it all just goes wrong continually, and you know, XMen die, and Cyclops gets put in a Professor X-like chair. But my problem with this is, and it kind of links in with Secret Wars 2 if you've read that, that we have this kind of council, this kind of court, where if you have kind of disagreements with people within your kind of borough, I guess, you can take it to Doom and he will kind of give a verdict, who's guilty and who's not. And why haven't the X-Men of this kind of Manhattan borough not done this? And that's where the kind of plot hole where it doesn't fit into the whole Battle World theme. So I was kind of a little bit disappointed with that. Also disappointed with Where Monsters Dwell. I was kind of looking forward to this because it's Garth Ennis. I thought it would be a lot stronger than it actually was. We have this this kind of bit of a kind of parody of this kind of stupid cad who's kind of like a womanizer, always getting into trouble, and then this kind of strong, intelligent, smarter woman comes in and kind of takes over, wants this gadabout to fly her home, but on the way home they fall into a kind of lightning storm and suddenly they're in this other world where dinosaurs are. And I just kind of found it a bit unoriginal and inspiring, and it was just a disappointment. The only one I did actually prefer this week was the Infinity Gauntlet. Again, another reworking of the story. It's actually an old Marvel story that I don't believe I've read before. I'm trying very hard to think if I have. If I have, it bears no resemblance to this issue. So this is a huge retelling of it, and a reworking, where we have this kind of dystopian future, everything is crumbling, we have this alien attack of, or invasion of bugs, and we are talking huge bugs, and it is this family continually trying to stay one step ahead. Involved and immersed in all that is the fact that the mother of this family left them years and years before to go and join the Nova Corps, and one of the daughters feel very let down by her mother, that she believes she's dead now, that they've just got to keep carrying on and not hoping that that her mother will ever come back. And obviously, as we're going on, they get attacked by these bugs, and the daughter falls into a kind of hole and finds one of the gems. And it's the blue gem, which I believe had something to do with the kind of mind, whether it kind of brought to life your kind of thoughts and desires, because as soon as she has this jewel, this gem, and she's trapped by all these bugs with no chance of escape, who turns up but the mother in full Nova Corps uniform? And I wonder, is this her real mother, or has the power of this gem made her appear? Is it a kind of like a manifestation of her mother? And all the while in the background, who's watching? Of course, it's Thanos. I loved this book. It was really fun, it was exciting, it moved along, and the artwork was really good. Really liked it. The kind of, it's very much Marvel style. So this one probably will be picking up the next issue. And here we are finally with the Sandman Overture issue 5. And it's such a pity in some ways that this takes so long between issues to appear, because you either have to find the time to reread the last issues, or you kind of got to try very hard to remember what's happened in the previous issues, and I just did not have the time to reread at least the last issue. However, I do remember, you know, there's this crazy star that's captured Sandman in a black hole, and in this issue he kind of uses his kind of dreamlike powers and he goes to meet his mother, Dusk, and it's very complicated. They're as gorgeous as J.H. Williams' art is, and there are some gorgeous full page splashes, and you know how he likes to play around with the layout of pages. It all becomes a little bit confusing trying to not only follow the flow of the story, but make out all the images and what's going on. So he has this conversation with his mother, which probably has a lot of things in it that need to be captured and put in the old mind bank, and referenced to everything else that has come before and everything that will come after this. But I just, sorry, didn't have the time. He does eventually kind of get rescued by Destiny, who has a problem of his own. Destiny, the guy that has the book that knows what goes on everywhere. There are no surprises to Destiny with his big book. But he is surprised as a ship appears in his realm. And so he drags Dream out of the black hole through his mirror as he, you know, calls him forth and asks, you know, basically, what the hell's going on? Because we have another kind of version of the Sandman, the cat version, who has been going around basically saving all these people, and this ship is becoming very much Ark-like, and it does very much feel like, you know, the end of the world. And this Sandman, the cat version of him, is saving people for what comes after. I do feel with one more issue to go, how does this all tie in to the original series? Because this is meant to explain how Sandman originally got captured, as we see him in the beginning of Neil Gaiman's original huge saga, which is just amazing. However, of course, who knows when we're going to meet up with issue 6? We might have to wait another year for that, who knows? But I'm still very excited for this book. I think a lot of people dropped off of it because of the solicitations on this. However, once this all gets collected in trade, you guys and girls out there are going to have a treat on your hands. Finally, for this video, before I make my pick of the week video that'll come straight after this, this is the final issue for this video. It's Theyre Not Like Us, and it's issue 6. And I'm really warming to this title now. It has been a bit kind of directionless. It's been kind of, let's introduce all the characters, and I've just felt, well, what does Stevenson want to do with this book? What story is he trying to tell? And this does very feel much like a kind of end of the arc, which I'm sure it is. It'll be nicely collected in a trade, 6 issues. Handy. But the beginning of this sees the fallout from the end of last issue, where Blur Girl has either, I don't know whether she's tried to kill herself, I can't remember, or if she was attacked, but the group go into chaos, and with kind of Sid kind of now starting to take charge of the group somewhat, after being very reticent of being part of this kind of anti-heroic group. She suddenly brings on these kind of leadership qualities, ordering, you know, the other group around, getting an ambulance and a medical unit to the house to try and save Blur Girl. And of course this brings outsiders into their kind of secret house, something the Voice never wants. And this is the great thing about this book, because it kind of it changes the dynamic of all the characters. We originally saw Sid as this very kind of timid, suicidal young girl, didn't know what was going on with her life, being brought into this house and with all these people she didn't know, these teenagers that she feels a certain affinity to. She's been kind of had the same things happen to her as the others, but gradually, as we've gone from issue to issue, Sid has started making a stronger stand in her life and against the current leader, I guess, the Voice. And so we see her kind of moving this group of kind of misfits into action. We get her defying the Voice, as he has brought her parents in for her to kill because they were so horrible to her. But, you know, Sid kind of recognises that it's not really her parents' fault. They weren't able to deal with her because of her extra special powers. So she is not now going to blame them anymore. She's going to move on with her life even if it isn't with them in it. It's a very kind of emotional issue for Sid here. And to the point where now she wants rid of the group. She's going to move out, she's going to become her own person, and basically she says, if anybody wants to come with me, come with me. And so we kind of get this mutinous rebellion against the Voice, and it all ends as the Voice's origin kind of began with the burning down of this house to cover all their traces. So really it's time to move on. And where now is Stevenson going to take this story? Are we going to see kind of two warring groups that were originally one? Are we going to see them using their powers now for not necessarily good or more altruistic reasons than they previously have? Really excited to see what the next chapter here is. So thank you for watching this belated comic book review video. As I said at the top of the video, I think I'm going to kind of just put this out when I can. I'm not going to promise it's always going to be out on a Friday anymore, because it just isn't going to happen. Crap happens. Thank you for watching and getting this far anyway. Thank you to my most recent subscribers. Great to have you all on board. If you're not already subscribed, hit the button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and down in the comment section below, comment on some of the books that I've got. If you've read them as well, tell me what you thought of them. If you disagreed with me, let me know. How are you enjoying Secret Wars? Which books have you been enjoying? Which particular books are you wanting to continue with? Let me know down there. So until Wednesday, when you'll see some more new comic books from me, bye bye.